Welcome back to day 45. Today's pose is a seated forward fold, or also known as Paschimottanasana. So this forward fold is really great for opening up the hamstrings, the calves, the backs of the legs, as well as lengthening the spine. I'm going to admit it's my nemesis pose. But sometimes in yoga, the poses that we dislike the most are probably the ones that we need. Although there are several ways to open up the hamstrings and the backs of the legs, seated forward fold is often used in yoga classes. So it's great to know how to align yourself, how the pose should be set up, and as well the modifications that you can use using your props. Remember, props are your friends. For this pose, I love my props, and I'm going to show you why. So let's get started. Have a nice seated position, sitting up nice and tall. Let's take our arms out to the side and take a nice inhale, palms overhead. Exhale, lowering. Adding the head raise, look up towards the hands. Exhaling, chin to chest. Letting yourself arrive to this one pose practice today. Let everything else outside go. Taking one more nice big breath, palms overhead, and exhaling, palms together and down. All right, I'm going to demonstrate several versions here. It's great. Just watch, enjoy, find out what's working for you, and then when we come to practice the pose together. So you're welcome to speed forward if you'd rather just get into the practice. But traditionally, seated forward fold or Paschimottanasana is done on the floor. So we practiced staff pose yesterday. If you remember, we're on the floor, pulling our cheeks a little aside to get our sit bones nice and grounded. Legs straight out from your hips. Now you can always take the feet a little wider. I didn't say that in staff pose yesterday, but if the legs are tight, traditionally ankles are in line with your hips. So this is where we're at. This is my nemesis. I'm already tight. Throughout my whole life, I've had tight hamstrings and calves. Even as much yoga as I've practiced over the years, it's a lifelong practice for me. So in this, we want to make sure we can roll our hips forward. Sometimes that's just really hard for us, so we're not in this rounded position, just rounding, trying to get our as far as we can reach. That's just what naturally we want to do. So option, raise the hips, have your hips sitting forward. It helps the hips to roll forward in this nice neutral position. For me, I already feel this strong stretch in the back of my legs, even though I've done a little bit of a warm-up. So options here. This is really great for people like me, if this is about where we're at, or even if you need to lean back a little bit. Let's take a strap, wrap it around the balls of both feet, press your legs long, and hold the strap, nice long arms, and roll those shoulders back. So we can start here. I'm feeling a nice stretch in my calves already. And then as the body starts to open, we can walk our hands down the strap. What sometimes we like to do is take the elbows a little wide, so we're keeping that chest nice and open and leading towards the feet or the toes, as also trying to keep your spine nice and elongated. I do find holding this position for a long time can be a little stressful or strenuous on the shoulders and the upper back. You can, as the chest starts to come forward, maybe you bring the hands down to the floor or even to some blocks. That way I can keep the shoulders nice and relaxed without reaching forward. Okay, so there is Paschimottanasana. Now, some people might find that they're very flexible. They can actually reach their feet. We recommend wrap your hands around the back or the sides of the feet. So again, you're keeping your chest nice and open as you allow your belly to start to reach or press into your thighs. Then when your belly presses into your thighs, you're certainly welcome to drop your head because your spine will still be in a nice elongated position. It's not that we can't round our back. We can, but that just is more like I feel like I'm cheating, I'm getting here, and we're just compressing the chest. We like to keep the chest nice and open. All right, I'm going to show you some of my favorite modifications. Now, as I showed yesterday, you can certainly do this seated in the chair. There are other ways to open the backs of the hamstrings, so I might recommend we did a head to knee pose, one leg at a time, a little bit more supportive. However, making sure our chair is nice and firm, not going to slide away from us. You can come into this staff pose that we did yesterday. Make sure you're not going to slip off your chair though. So I'm sitting a little bit forward, legs are straight, hands can be on the chair, and I'm folding forward, noticing where I'm feeling that stretch down the backs of my legs. If you start to come a little more forward, maybe I use blocks. Start with my hands on my knees, but again, make sure your chair's not going to slip away from you. Hold and breathe as we do, and then as available, hands can come to the blocks. So that's one way to do seated forward fold from a chair. My ultimate favorite, however, I'm going to show you. So taking the chair to the end of the mat, taking my blanket, so we sit on that forward fold of the blanket again, or that soft fold. And you'll sit in front of the chair. Maybe you have a block here on your chair. So I find this is my favorite because it's just nice. Gives me time to sort of rest in this forward fold to allow my legs to open up. So I have a really light chair. You can see I can throw it around. Make sure if your chair is heavy, you just find a position and move your body as you need to. So my legs and my feet are under the chair, and I flex my feet as I did. Now remember, you can still do that version. This is really nice too. If it's just that they're too tight, bring those blocks under your knees and then allow the body to fold forward. So that's an option. Or you can use rolled up towels, really nice too. So here, option here is my legs are under the chair, ultimate favorite. Sit up nice and tall, and as I let my body come forward, I reach the outer edges of the chair seat or chair back. Keep my shoulders back and down and let my chest float towards the chair seat. Now again, I notice I'm still, for me, right this morning, a little too far from my chair. As I come forward, maybe I can rest the backs of my arms, elbows, palms together, and rest my thumbs or my forehead on my thumb mounds. This is nice, calming. I can meditate here, breathe into this stretch as I hold it. You can also choose to have a block if you come down a little bit farther, resting your forehead on the block. So, all the options. Perfect example of why props are our friends. So use your props. Find the ones you like to use today. Find the position you'd like to get into, and let's practice our forward fold together. I'm going to use this chair setup. Certainly, depending on where your body is at, find the props that you need. Pause the video, grab your props, and then let's get started. All right, so remember, any position you're sitting in, sit up nice and tall. Feel those sit bones. You can draw the cheeks away from the sit bones, legs straight out in front of you. Use the hands either side of your hips to press into the floor to start with a nice elongated spine. Feel the stretch, flexing the feet. Roll your toes to face up to the ceiling. You might already feel enough stretch here. Think of the heels pressing down so you have that little space under the knees. Remember, if you're sitting in the chair, make sure your chair is not sliding away. As you hinge at your hips, rolling the hips forward, bringing your chest forward towards the feet or the chair. If you're using the strap, keep your arms nice and wide. And then either bringing the hands either side of your legs, allowing your chest to float forward. Let's start to engage a nice, full, even breath. Let's inhale to 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Continuing like that. When we're doing a nice static stretch, you like to extend your exhale longer than your inhale to allow the body to release and let go. So if you're using the chair, either grabbing the sides of the chair seats or the chair back, or bring the backs of your arms onto the chair. Palms together, rest your forehead on your thumb mounds. Continuing that nice elongated breath. Inhaling, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Continuing that. Now I know in yoga class, chair might not be available. So this is more for your practice at home when you have time. You could sit and watch TV while you're doing this, but it's also a nice meditation, breath practice, holding in this static pose. But in class, as we demonstrated, you can use your strap around the balls of your feet, the blocks under your knees, the blocks either side of your legs, just to keep the shoulders from hunching forward, spine nice and lifted. Remember, as always, props are our friends. They help us into poses, especially poses like this one for me that are my nemesis. As my body opens, I can bring my arms either side of the chair legs, start to let my forehead rest on the block. We're going to hold here for another few breaths. You might feel a little trembling in your legs or your body. Extend those exhales. That's completely natural. You could back out of the pose a little bit till it stops. Or just pause, breathe, take some nice extended breaths. And when you're ready, slowly walk out of it. You can use your hands on the floor of the chair to start to let your spine come back to nice neutral position. I'm going to lean back into my hands and gently draw my legs out from under my chair. Come back into our nice seated position. So you found my nemesis pose today, or my kryptonite, but I'm working through it, as always, a lifelong practice. Let's take our nice closing breath together. Inhaling, palms overhead. Exhaling, palms together and down. I thank you for joining this one pose practice today. I'd love your feedback or comments. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow.